In this video, I'll show you how to integrate Google Sheets with Certifier to automatically issue a certificate every time a new row is added to a spreadsheet. Hi there, my name is Uliana and I'm a product manager here at Certifier. If you are collecting data on course completions, form submissions, or webinar attendance in Google Sheets, then this native integration by Certifier is a game changer. No more manual certificate creation, no complex automation tools. Just add a row and your certificate is sent automatically. Before we dive in, this video is broken down into multiple chapters that you can see right now on the screen. If you want to jump to a specific section, just click on any chapter in the timeline below. And now, without further ado, let's get started. When it comes to sending your Google Sheets data to Certifier, there are really two options. The first one is to bulk issue certificates just one time. That's when you already have a spreadsheet full of recipient data and want to issue all of those certificates at once. If that's your case, check out a separate video guide linked in the description below. The second option, and the one that we'll be covering today, is to automatically issue a certificate every time a new row appears in your spreadsheet. And this is where Certifier Automations come into play. Certifier Automations follow a very simple idea. Two steps: a trigger and an action. The trigger is what starts the automation. The action is what happens next. With Google Sheets, the trigger is when a new row appears in your spreadsheet. The action is when Certifier issues the certificate for that row. The real power of the setup is that Google Sheets can act as a bridge between your tool and Certifier. A forum, a survey, a registration page, or even your CRM or LMS, all of them can push data into Sheet, and then every time a new row arrives, Certifier automatically issues a certificate. By the way, if you would like to see this in action with specific tools, we've created separate guides for Google Forms, Typeform, and SurveyMonkey. You'll find them linked in the description. You can also work directly in the spreadsheet, filling in rows by hand. This is actually the method I'll demonstrate today simply because it is the clearest way to show you the process. However, keep in mind that the real value comes when your data flows in automatically through the bridge. That's where our Google Sheets integration saves you the most time. To get started, we recommend copying a sample Google Sheets template that we prepared in advance. You can find it in the description down below. To make a copy of our sample file, open the template, click on the file, make a copy. Feel free to rename the spreadsheet the way you prefer and hit Make a Copy once again. As you can see, it comes with 3 worksheets. Instructions and tips with a quick overview and some critical rules that we'll discuss later on. Input sheet for drafting recipient data manually. And live sheet, the sheet that Certifier monitors. If you are running an automated flow, your external tool like a CRM, LMS, or a form should push data straight into the live sheet. And just so that you know, using our sample file isn't mandatory. You can always start with an empty spreadsheet or use the one that's automatically created by your data collection tool. If you are leveraging the manual flow, this is where the input sheet comes into play. You should always draft your rows at your own pace in the input sheet file first, and then copy the complete ones into the live sheet. This step is crucial because Google Sheets fires new row trigger as soon as any cell in that row changes. If you type into only some columns, the automation may fire on incomplete data, causing skipped or erroneous entries. Also, whichever spreadsheet or flow you decide to go with, make sure your sheet starts empty and only add data to your file after making the automation live. Now that we understand how the input sheet and live sheet work, let's move on to actually creating the automation in Certifier. To start, head over to the Automations tab in your dashboard and click Create Automation. From there, you'll see the template gallery. It showcases not only the Google Sheets template, but also templates for apps like Microsoft Excel and Google Forms. We have also prepared dedicated videos on those, and you will find the links in the description below. Now, select a template titled Issue a Credential via Certifier when a new row is added in Google Sheets, and press Use Template. After that, you'll be redirected straight to the Automations canvas. The canvas showcases a trigger. A new row is added in Google Sheets. And an action, Certifier issuing a credential. Let's start by setting up the trigger first. For that, click on the trigger to open the configuration drawer. As you can see, the setup with an app and event is pre-configured, and all you have to do is press Continue and move on to the configuration. The configuration starts by connecting your Google account. Press Connect Google Sheets, then select the Google account that you would like to pull data from. Press Continue and set the checkbox to allow Certifier to access your data. After that, your account will appear as selected. And by the way, if you need to use some different account, just unfold the options and select or connect another one. Click on the field below Spreadsheet ID and choose our sample spreadsheet you copied earlier. Then choose Live Sheet as a worksheet IDs. If you are not using our template, simply select your preferred spreadsheet and the sheet that you'll be pulling the data from. Keep optional props untouched and press Submit. The Google Sheets trigger is configured. Let's now configure the action. For that, click on the action block to open the configuration drawer. Just like with the trigger, the setup with an app and event is pre-configured. It means that all you have to do is press Continue and move to the configuration. Your first step here is to select the group you want to use for credential issuance. Now, let's map the recipient name. To do so, click on the recipient name input and either press the plus button or type in double curly brackets to map this field to the column of your spreadsheet that stores your recipient names. In our case, that's column A. By the way, if your recipient names are split into multiple columns as names and surnames, feel free to add these columns one by one, separated by a space. Now, click on the recipient email input and following the exact same method, let's map this field to the column B of our spreadsheet. Next, let's configure the issuance. Set issue credential to true if you want the certificates to be issued straight away, or to false if you'd rather create them as drafts. I'll go with true. For send credential, leave it on true to email certificates automatically, or switch to false if you prefer to send them later. Keep both fields to true if you want a certificate to be automatically issued and sent to your recipients via email. If you want to include some additional recipient-specific data for this credential, for example, recipient scores, locations, instructor's name, or even profile pictures, you can also do so by creating custom attributes in Certifier. Once created, those attributes will appear here in the form as inputs, and all you have to do is to map them to the columns in your spreadsheet, just like we did with recipient names and emails. Here is an important note. Once you've mapped your columns, please remember that Certifier tracks the column position you mapped, like column A or column B, and not the header names that you gave it, like recipient name and recipient email in our example. That's why once your automation is active, you should avoid reordering the columns or inserting new ones in between. Doing so will break the mapping and cause the automation to fail. This is why we strongly recommend planning ahead. And if you need to include some extra data, I mean those custom attributes that I've just mentioned earlier, add those columns to your spreadsheet before activating the automation. To finish configuring the action, press Submit. Let's now activate the automation. Click Save and Activate, give your automation a clear name, and press Next. You'll see a confirmation warning saying that if there are any rows in your spreadsheet, Certifier might use them for credential issuance upon activation. Let's check the box and click Confirm and Activate to proceed. And that's it! Your automation is live and ready to process added rows to issue certificates. Let me now show you how it works in practice. I'll open the spreadsheet and navigate straight to the input sheet. Here, let's manually add the recipient data. Once the row is complete, let's copy it and paste it into the connected sheet. Now, let's wait a minute or two and navigate back to Certifier. Here is the certificate Certifier issued and sent via email using the data from spreadsheet. On the recipient side, they received a fully customized email that includes a direct link to the live version of their certificate. From there, the recipient can open, share, or download it right away. Back in the Automations view, you can see how many times this automation has run in total. If I click Show Runs, a model with a list of runs appears. Here you can sort them by time or filter them by status. In this example, you'll notice one run with an error. Let's open it up to see what happened. The log shows that the error occurred at the Actions tab. Expanding it further, we can see the exact issue: an invalid action input. More specifically, Certifier received an invalid value for the recipient email field. So why is that? Because Certifier processes everything in your spreadsheet, including your column headers like recipient name and recipient email. But in column B, Certifier actually expects a real email address, one with @ and an email domain. Since the header itself isn't a valid email, Certifier cannot process that row and flags it as an error. This is an absolutely harmless error that you should expect with your automation and can simply ignore. Before we wrap up, there are a few important do's and don'ts to keep in mind when working with Google Sheets automations. The key idea here is that the integration relies on exact references. Certifier looks at the specific file name, the specific sheet name, the order of the sheets, and the column positions, for example, column A or column B. If any of those change, the automation won't know where to pull the data from, and it will simply break. So let's quickly go through the rules you need to follow to keep your automation running smoothly. Do not rename your file and sheets. Do not reorder the sheet tabs. Do not reorder the columns of your sheet. Do not insert the columns in between the mapped ones, and do not edit the process rows. To correct the data, update credentials in the Certifier dashboard. Also remember to always include the name and email, and allow a few minutes for processing. Use the input sheet for drafting the rows if you are leveraging the manual flow. You can now set up your own integration just like that by following the steps in this video, or if you prefer a text version, I highly recommend checking our detailed step-by-step article published on Certifier's Knowledge Base Hub. I will leave the link to it in the description down below. If you happen to have any questions, make sure to reach out to us via chat in the Certifier app, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. And lastly, if your use case is more complex and requires integration of many workflows, book a demo with one of our integration experts, and we will gladly answer all of your technical questions and help you with the setup. Thank you for being with me today, and I'll see you in the next one.